Bam. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Gorgon, the Wonder Cow. I'm bringing you here today the Dota 2 Canada Cup Season number 2, game number 1. Thoroughly going the way of Pretty Boy Swag, and I am joined, as always for today at least, by Lily. Lily, are you there?
I am here. That was a little bit funny. Yeah, I wouldn't say Pretty Boy Swag thoroughly won. Cyber Gamer just gave up.
Well, yeah.
I don't know why.
At the stage where the game ended, I would not have said that Pretty Boy Swag had the game necessarily locked, but where it ended, I'd say a 2-1 KD and a almost 10,000 gold lead. It's pretty thorough.
I guess.
Perhaps agree to disagree on that point. Pretty Boy Swag gets the victory, one way or the other. And,
yes.
The Elder Titan band coming out first, once again, from our dire side, QQ. This is a team that I'm not actually familiar with, so it'll be interesting to see what their play style is. The Huskar being banned out by the House is Down, I would not be surprised if that is followed up by a Slark ban, and they're just getting rid of all the heroes that they don't know how to handle. That seems pretty typical.
I would say it'd be quite standard. Just getting rid of those heroes in first.
Will often come with either a Visage ban or a Clockwork ban, because it implies that you don't want your opponents to be able to be too aggressive, and both of those heroes really give both a strong defensive positioning in the early game and the ability to gank very, very hard around levels 5, 6, 7. So that's kind of what I expect here, either Visage or a Clockwork. But there are, of course, 90-something options on the table, and I don't know this team, so just kind of there's going to be a Lich, so I am caught with my foot in my mouth a little bit.
Well, that's a bit of an interesting ban out. I mean, Lich, he was in the metagame for a little while, but then he just kind of faded out, I think, because he's a bit too much of a level-dependent support still, and even with the buff to his deny,
has Lich faded out in Southeast Asia? Because he is huge here still.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, he's just gone in Southeast Asia. I thought it was everywhere.
At least
just how much I know.
I don't know. In terms of pro play, I will admit I'm a little behind on catching up on pro play because I've been doing so much competitive level casting. But in terms of the games that I cast for Sunday Evening Cup Series, for SIVO, for Sticky Flames, Lich is still first pick, first ban all the way through.
Okay.
In North America, at least. That's
in Southeast Asia, he's never really seen. But Visage first pick, that does like
they wanted him, so at least I saved a little bit of honor on that one.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I mean, Alchemist, Timbersaw, Slark are all still in the pool, and those seem to be the top kind of picks. Marana as well. So yeah, so House is down. They've just got too many heroes to choose from. I said whatever, choose from. Oh, I can't English. Sorry, it's really early here.
I would love a Crystal Maiden pick from House is Down. Crystal Maiden works so well with Alchemist. She can not only slow, but also stun in a chain to set up Alchemist's Unstable Concoction. Alchemist, in the early game, has a little bit of trouble with mana pool, and her ability to give everybody on the team additional mana from level 2 or 3, whenever she decides to level that, really, really, really helps out a hero like him, especially if he's going to be running as a support, which I suspect this Alchemist will be. Typically, these days, when we see an Alchemist, we see him as a support. It's just in meta at the current moment. I don't particularly care for the support Alchemist. I think that there are other supports that do what he does better in a lot of ways. But that's a personal preference. They're going to go for the Venomancer instead.
That is just an incredibly painful roaming combo. With those two, that's just I shudder to see that. If you're any kind of hero that has low mobility, you're just going to go down to that because that Venomous Gale, even though it doesn't do damage, followed up by the Alchemist stun, and then Venomancer hitting you, and you can't walk away, and you're stunned, and that's scary. So QQ, I think they're going to be forced into picking up mobile heroes like the Slark, the Marana, heroes that have some kind of an escape mechanism, because in the laning phase, if these two decide to roam, they're going to be getting kills left, right, and center.
The one thing that I will say about this combo is that you really have to watch out the Acid Spray Gale at low levels, because Gale, even though it doesn't do damage, it does provide deniability. So, even though it's doing 0 damage, if a Gale is on somebody, your opponents can deny that hero. And so a hero who's standing in Acid Spray, which does a little bit of damage over time, and is also in Gale, is going to be deniable, and I've seen that happen more than once, where an Alchemist Venomancer combo has lost a kill because Gale allowed the deniability. So, just something for
that is very true as well. I mean, it might be worth them picking up something like a Marana who can just seal the deal with a kill using a nuke damage like the Starstorm to finish it off.
Yeah, Marana would be great with this lineup.
Yeah.
Honestly, for either of these lineups, Mirana would be fantastic. If QQ does not want the Mirana, I would think a Mirana ban would be very, very solid.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say as well. That I mean, Visage and Rubik, the telekinesis into Ari, like we saw last game, as well as Visage just saying, "Hey, what's up?" Throwing a Soul Assumption out in your face. That's enough to take down Venomancer and even Alchemist before he gets his ultimate up. So, I mean, both teams could go for the Mirana. Of course, it is going to be first pick going the way of QQ. So the house is down and kind of forced into a situation where even if they want the Mirana, they're going to have a second pick or leave something better that QQ can take open, or else QQ is probably going to pick up the Mirana themselves. So, yeah. I mean, especially because QQ is banning out the Weaver, I find that a bit interesting, given that they're the ones who need the mobile heroes against the slow as well as the stun coming out from Alchemist. And the Visage and Rubik, Visage got a slight amount of mobility with the Grave Chill. Rubik's got virtually no mobility though. He's a very slow hero, so I would have thought they'd want to take something like a Weaver, even if it's for the offlane. But maybe they're aiming to take something like a Tim. Nope. Okay, they're banning the Timber Sword.
All the mobile heroes. The Slark is going to go out for the houses down as well. That's a really good ban. Slark has all that mobility that we were just saying that they needed. Not only that, but as we were saying in the first game, his ability to just dive into basically any tower he wants without fear of repercussion allows him to follow up kills that the Visage and Rubik can set up, but maybe not solidify. House is down. Thinking about their next pick. I think the Mirana, I think you're right on the money with that first.
Oh, they have the next pick. Oh, I'm going crazy. I thought the QQ had I can't count to 4 apparently. Yeah, Mirana I think would go really well with them. Sorry, that just confused the hell out of me. Mirana would go really well, as well as, I mean, they could even fit in something like a Luna, who's going to give that damage buff, and if they can get her a nice start in the early game, they could possibly leave her just to solo while they roam around. She's not a terrible laner if, you know, she hits a couple of levels.
If they grab themselves a Luna for a solo safe lane farm and a Mirana for an Alchemist Mirana Venomancer aggressive tri lane, that would be the most kill-tastic set of meta heroes I've seen in quite some time. Kill-tastic being my new way of saying things that I don't know words for. Invoker is going to be picked up. It's a little early to tell if that's going to be farming or mid, but I would expect it to be mid, typically.
Yeah, and a mid-invoker, I do like that pickup. I think he, at least in Southeast Asia, I mean, you're not going to be seeing this game, obviously, because he's banned out, but Clockwork and Invoker are, like, best friends for life, because all of Invoker's spells go quite well with him with the Exort for Sunstrike, but Clockwork being banned out, I'm wondering if this Invoker is going to go for Exort, or if he's going to go for a Quas Wex and just spam out the EMP constantly, because Visage is a really mana-dependent hero, and so is Rubik to an extent, so if he does go for the Wex Exort type, not Wex Exort, Wex Quas type build, he could just completely take away their teamfight ability, just saying, hey, have an EMP. If you stay here, you can lose all your mana. If you leave, well, Alchemist and Venomancer are going to take you down on the sides.
I think Houses Down will probably go for an Exort style build so that they can really engage on a global scale with that Alchemist Venomancer and very, very early try to push down some tiles. I would not be at all surprised to see some additional push come out of Houses Down. Pugna is still on the table. If they did want to throw that Invoker into a solo safe lane, they could throw a Pugna mid or vice versa and really just start to push down towers very, very early. In addition, that Alchemist Venomancer combo with a Juggernaut is extraordinarily deadly. And once again, the Healing Ward provides an extraordinary amount of push. So it looks like Houses Down could be thinking about a global engagement / push style build. They still have 2 heroes and they haven't given away too much. They still have the potential to go for a teamfight build, like you were saying, with the Quas Wex. And they still have the potential to go for a straight ganking style build, especially if they did pick up that Mirana. The Bounty Hunter being picked up for the off lane by QQ.
Yeah, I mean, with the Bounty Hunter pick up now, I'm going to say I feel like the Houses Down should rotate into a bit more of a teamfight oriented lineup. You know, going for something like you said, like the Pugna maybe, putting Invoker in the safe lane and then just trying to get towers down. Oh, Bristleback as well. That's a bit excitement.
All right.
Which I think implies they are going for a bit more team fight. But if you're getting, you know, solo pushing against a Bounty Hunter, you're probably just going to be feeding him track kills, especially rotation from Visage and Rubik. Whereas at the moment, QQ have got essentially no team fight, whereas the House is down like an Invoker or Venomancer. Even Alchemist can team fight quite well to an extent. So I think if the House is down picked up someone who could take down towers for their last pick, or who at least could help with the pushing, I think they'd have a really strong, you know, kind of early to mid late game lineup and be able to get such a gold advantage from taking down towers that they could, you know, go tier 3. Whereas QQ looks like a lot more ganking oriented.
Absolutely. It's really difficult for me to imagine what QQ should prioritize for their ban here, because that Alchemist, like we said, probably just because of the meta, probably going to be support Alchemist. But if QQ bans out a carry, then they could just rotate that Alchemist into a carry position and then pick up another support.
One reset.
Oh. And, sorry, I thought I heard something there. Must have been coming from one of my other programs that's open. Well, Lawrence is saying something. All right, never mind. We got the Dragon Knight coming in for QQ, and that's going to be their mid, presumably, which means this Rubik Visage.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, sorry. I'm trying to fix this mic thing. We do have...
Okay, cool, yeah, I can check, that's fine. Yeah, the Rubik Visage, Dragon Knight in the mid lane, then grabbing a tri-lane. Something to go with those two. I mean, really you can pick anything. They've already got the 2 long-range heroes, so you could potentially go for a melee, but given that the house is down, looking like they might be running an aggressive sort of dual roam with the Bristleback in the off lane, they might want to take someone with a little bit more survivability. And, I mean, Mirana is still in the pool. She is being completely ignored.
Yeah, which is shocking, quite honestly to me. I'm just going to slowly ramp up my preamps mic volume until I get some sort of recognition from Pimp that everything is all right. But we do have the Dragon Knight coming out for the mid. The Bounty Hunters, that Bounty Hunter could very well be a safe lane solo. And once again, I know I see aggressive tri-lanes and everything, but the Visage and Rubik, those are 2 heroes that want to be in your face and want to be punishing for any sort of out of position.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you were saying last game, Rubik, even getting partially, like a little bit out of position, you're going to get telekinesis and lift even further back into, you know, a tower, for example, if you go even a little bit too close. So they have to watch their positioning. And, I mean, in terms of lineup, I really do like the houses down, but a Crystal Maiden last pick, so it's going to have to be a farming Alchemist, I suppose, in the tri-lane.
That is, that was the pick when I had said Alchemist could just run as himself as a carry, and then they could pick up another support. That Crystal Maiden was exactly what I had in mind when we saw the Alchemist come out originally, and I said the Crystal Maiden and Venomancer are like best friends. The double slow along with the stun, the damage over time, that setup, that Alchemist, it's just absolutely atrocious to have to deal with. This means that the house is down really want to come out of the gate strong, though. They want to be getting some kills. They want to be getting some towers. And it looks like you're right. They probably will want to end up going for a teamfight build. Wow. That went from sort of late game to really late game very quickly for QQ.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how this PA is going to work out, I suppose. I mean, her evasion isn't going to be meaning anything against Bristleback, unless I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure even though Bristleback's damage is physical, you can't dodge it. So I feel like she's going to have a really hard time in lane, just spamming out the Quill Spray, forcing her back, and Bristleback's got that Crystal Maiden aura, so he's not really going to run out of mana that much. So PA, I feel like, is going to have a really rough time in the lane, but I need to pause, okay.
And PA is one of these heroes that does not do particularly well in aggressive tri-lane, which means that aggressive tri-lane probably not on the table. They could do it, but it's... If that Bristleback ends up running up against the Phantom Assassin, you're right, she's going to have a hard time. She would also... Her supports would have a pretty hard time running a try-on-try in this situation. If they do end up running the Alchemist with the Crystal Maiden and the Venomancer into this long lane here, the QQ, if they end up running a defensive tri-lane, could have a little bit of trouble. Because once again, Mort just doesn't do that well with early game aggression. Sorry, Phantom Assassin, Mortrid from Dota 1. Does not do super well with that early game aggression. She's defensive, but the amount of damage that she can output is moderately limited.
Yeah, I mean, she is... I don't know, it's just such a luck-based lineup, and I suppose what their plan is to have PA participate in a couple of kills, you know, with the track gold, especially when they hit level 6 on the Bounty Hunter. Even if she just rotates into the end of the fight and just kind of daggers someone to slow them down, she can get a lot of gold just by that, since she is a decent ganker, but at the same time, she's one of those heroes that she wants to go aggressive, but if she goes aggressive, she can die. And especially because THD have got such a counter-aggressive lineup. I mean, you initiate onto them, Venomancer can throw out the Gale, or even the Plague Wards, which are highly spammable and now do damage over time as well as a slow. And Bristleback, he wants long duration team fights, and QQ just don't have any really high nuking power. I mean, they haven't got anything like a Lion, a Queen of Pain, a Lena. The mid hero is more designed to push. Even with the Breathe Fire, it's not enough to instantly kill for Bristleback, who's going to be, I think, running around these team fights just going absolutely insane with the Cool Spray. So I think that team fights are going to be really hard for QQ, and they're going to have to rely on pickoffs. Basically, would be my guess. Try to catch sports out of position.
Yeah, when this breaks down into team fights, I am having trouble seeing how QQ is going to really engage until that Phantom Assassin begins. I mean, that Phantom Assassin is going to pretty much have to get a Battle Fury in order to make herself viable in this game because they don't... Oh, Dota TV. Oh, this is a glitch of Steam. Hold on, give me a second. All right, fixed. Can you guys hear me in Dota TV now? There we go. Yeah, so apologies to everybody in Dota TV. Dota has a bit of a glitch where sometimes if you happen to even breathe softly in the direction of the open mic setting, it will change it, but not actually displaying the GUI that it's been changed. And it's kind of hard for me to determine when that has happened or not. But we are back. And just for everyone in Dota TV who could not hear us before, I'm going to go ahead and introduce us one more time. My name is Gorgon the Wonder Cow, and I am here with Porcelain Lily. We are casting the Dota 2 Canada Cup Season 2. THD versus QQ. I'm going to run through our players real quick. We've got THDX on the Invoker. Vestius on the Venomancer. We've got Guru on the Crystal Maiden. We've got Knive on the Bristleback. And hanging out mid, we actually have the stand-in Slice on Alchemist. That's an interesting pick. Throwing the Alchemist mid. Looks like it's going to be a solo safe lane Invoker, and they are going to do the aggressive tri-lane. Just not with the Alchemist like we would have expected.
Yeah, and I like and dislike this choice. I mean, an aggressive tri-lane with Bristleback, Crystal Maiden, and Venomancer is going to be, well, devastating. I mean, that's a lot of damage coming out. But of course, at the same time, Bristleback wants level, Venomancer wants levels, and Crystal Maiden even wants levels to an extent. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did see Crystal Maiden rotate into possibly the enemy jungle, or maybe just her own jungle to give a little bit more survivability and levels to the whole team, because... You know, if she can jungle quite easily and get to level 3 or 4, I don't think Bristleback and Venomancer particularly need her in the lane. Both of them are decently tanky heroes, and, you know, her support isn't going to be absolutely necessary unless they absolutely just want to go for kills.
Yeah, I expect that they're going to be trying to pick off a lot of kills here with the double slow coming out of the Crystal Nova and the Gale. And she's actually holding on to her level, so she's not sure if she's going to go for... I imagine that she's choosing between the Frostbite and the Arcane Aura at the moment, because it depends whether or not she'll need to be globally providing for the Alchemist and the Invoker as well. But she's holding on to it to see if they'll be able to get a kill with that before she levels anything. I will run through our QQ players as well here real quick. We've got Rubik being played by Vita, Omega Poner on the Phantom Assassin, whatever. On the Visage, we've got Tiburon on the Dragon Knight, and we've got Zabeyu on the Bounty Hunter with a double damage running down in Shadow Walk for an engagement on this Invoker. Invoker already dropping a Sentry Ward in lane. What awareness out of this player. Up top.
I think...
Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
I thought we were going to say
Go.
All right, I've dropped my clamp down a little bit. We've been getting... Yeah, okay, great. We've been getting a little bit of mixed.
Yeah, apparently I'm super loud, and so they were like, turn him up, but it didn't fix it, because I'm still super loud. Oh well, you can deal with it. I've turned my volume down, so if it doesn't fix it, then let me know and I'll try and fix it. But, yeah, I was going to say on bot lane, this Sentry Ward should give Invoker total advantage over this lane. I mean, he should be able to lane control and kind of pull it back to this area and just keep the lane there. And once he gets up a level in Cold Snap, Bountyhead is going to have to watch out, because that Cold Snap followed up by Sunstrike should be enough to take him down. And of course, he's not going to be able to Wind Walk or Shadow Walk to get out of the way. So I think Invoker should have a clear win on this lane and maybe deny a bit of farm from the Bounty Hunter and force him to rotate mid to try and kill off this Alchemist.
Yeah, that was a very, very nice double pull coming out of QQ. It's harder to double pull over here on the Dire side. They managed to do it seamlessly, though they are giving all the experience for that over to THD. So despite the fact that the pull was very nice, their ability to defend the right to that experience is essentially negligible. The Visage really, really wants to be up in somebody's face right now, but I just don't know that this lane was designed correctly for... Or designed that optimally for what a Visage Rubik typically wants to be doing. That combo would typically want to be finding people out of place and forcing them back to the fountain. And in this particular situation, they're playing extremely defensively to try and just make sure Omega Pona does not get completely zoned out. And they're really losing a lot of the advantages that a Rubik Visage lane would normally give. And we do see the ward go up for the blocking.
Yeah, I mean, usually when you pick up a Rubik Visage, it's because you want to take something like a Weaver or a Luna, someone who can get, kills and has some nuking power in the lane, but PA doesn't really have any. She's got a dagger, which does virtually nothing, and that's pretty much it. She can blink in, but that's probably going to cause her own death. So, I mean, that's what I was saying about the Crystal Maiden. I'm surprised she's still just sitting up here, and they are creating pressure, but at the same time, if she's off the map, I think it'd create a lot more pressure because they wouldn't have any idea where she is, and it would make them a little bit more scary. But man, look at a big opponent.
Well, Mega Opponent's taking a
Are
lot.
they going to die?
He's actually going back up into the Sunstrike, and they're going to grab the Rubik with a very nice, or grab the Bristleback with a very nice. Now Venomancer goes down as well. Mort does end up going down to some damage over time, it looked like, from the Venomancer.
Yeah.
But, wow, first blood going to QQ and a second kill on that engagement. That pretty much could not have gone worse for THD. The only way they could have gone worse is maybe if Mort had gotten denied or something. That engagement, I mean, talking about trying to find players who are out of place and punishing them for, that's exactly what we saw. A lift up in the tower into the Grave Chill. Just extraordinary play.
I mean, a Visage and a Rubik, even though they're playing very defensively and they want to play offensively, they're still not the kind of heroes that you want to tower dive at 2 minutes into the game, because they will do that. They'll turn around, soul assumption you, lift you up, and you're not going anywhere. And Bristleback, while he is a very tanky hero, he's not tanky enough to survive that. So I do want to actually in mid lane, not mid lane. The rune.
Yeah,
Slice is going to be taking a lot of damage.
There's a haste on Dragon Knight. That was on before Alchemist even left the lane. I don't know what he was doing, but he is going to be auto attacked down. Now the stun goes out on Vastius. Vastius taking a lot of auto attacks, and the haste has just worn off. A very nice Venomous Gale, perfectly timed with that haste wear off. And it's going to first Tiburon back into the lane. But yeah, I wandered away from that lane because I saw those two engaging right here with the haste on the Dragon Knight, and Alchemist just kind of went back into his tower and said, I'll wait for that haste to wear off. Then he ended up walking all the way out into the forest, or all the way out into the river, excuse me, and getting hasted down. The stun is going to come out from Slice. He wanted to. Followed by the Sunstrike and the Acid. Tiburon just lost over half his health from that. I mean, they're not going to get a kill on that necessarily, but they're certainly asserting their dominance. Yeah, sure, you can kill me, but I'm not going to punish you for it.
I mean, now he's forced to bottle up, and even with the dragons.
There's going to be the lift on the Christmas Maiden, taking a lot of damage, and the auto attack from the Visage is going to throw that up. The Gale goes out, does manage to grab whatever, taking a couple auto attacks. The Soul Summon goes out, does not quite kill the Venomancer. He's trying to auto attack down the Venomancer, who's going to wand up, he'll be fine. Meanwhile, Bristleback is up top, he's going to throw out a couple stuns. Some Quills as well, very well to take out Vita, but Vita's going to try to take him down first. Who's going to get it? It's going to be the Bristleback, turning around, and he actually got that with his Bristleback. An automatic cast of those Quills. Managed to secure him that kill, one auto attack away from death.
That was really fantastic positioning from him to turn himself around at the last second. Like, wow, really, really well done by him. And so now scores even 4-4, and that's including the kill on the mid lane from the Alchemist. So
engagement mid lane. Slice walking up. There's going to be the Sunstrike, and it's going to hit. One more auto attack should do it, but he does not have his boots yet. I don't think. No, he does have his boots. He just was unable to kill the move speed bonus that comes out of Dragon.
And then Alchemist is the one to die anyway. Oh, this poor Alchemist, he can't catch a break. But on top lane, Mega Pona.
Mega Pona's taking a lot of damage. We're looking at, he's going to try to break through his creeps. It's not going to be enough. One more Quill, that's going to secure that kill. We're looking at 5-5 at 6.5 minutes. What a game. A lot
of aggression from both teams.
The only lane that's been uneventful is this bottom lane, where it's 26 to 28 CS and no real harassment coming out from either of these two players. Like, Invoker's just globally throwing around Sunstrikes to help out. Bounty Hunter's just trying to farm up a little bit. Bounty Hunter's actually arguably winning this lane. He's in the off lane, and he's keeping up in
mid lane.
Mid lane. Looks like there's going to be a stun. There's going to be Dragon Breath. There's some slow as well. The Great Soul Assumption is going to finish that off. This poor Alchemist just cannot catch a break. We're now at 0-3.
Look at his skill build. I don't understand. Is this normal in North America?
Oh, yeah. For a mid Alchemist, that's the standard.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like mid Alchemist.
But why?
That's the reason why. The acid spray is supposed to harass, and the stun is supposed to allow him to rotate around. But this Alchemist hasn't had a chance to rotate. Yeah, I don't. It's So
really? No chemical rage?
Oh, you know what? He's 6. No, he probably should have 1 chemical rage at this point, yeah. I just kind of took a glance at it and saw that he was only leveling acid spray and unstable power. No, yeah, that is.
He's
not
charging up the
standard.
stun.
There's a Sunstrike as well. This should be a dead dragon. Now, he tried to TP out, but way too late on that reaction. He was trying to make the decision probably through. He did Chemical Rage. He must have missed
Yeah, sorry.
on his... Well, yeah. I can only imagine. I don't know. It's hard to imagine him misclicking twice. So...
Yeah. Oh well. He's got it now. That makes me happy.
Yeah. Hopefully he won't die quite as often now. Chemical Rage extremely spammable because you get all the mana back during Chemical Rage. There's really no reason not to have it.
But yeah, on the bot lane, I'm really surprised that this Bounty Hunter has got so much from this lane. I mean, an Invoker going for Quas, Exort, he's got the Forge Spirit to harass, he's got Cold Snap, he's got Sunstrike, and oh, actually on top lane, another fight. Can't get anything done.
More coming down. Q is going to go down here potentially. Oh, yeah, one more attack. Sunstrike does hit whatever. And now the kill doing extraordinary damage. Whatever's going to try to get away, but Bristleback's going to try to chase him. There's going to be an Ace Goo here. Presumably, he doesn't even need it. He just throws out the quills. That secures that kill as well. That's a 2-for-1 trade. Once again, going in the favor of THD, who are, as we had said, from the get-go, the early game advantage. Certainly the early game favorites for this. This sort of gameplay is exactly what these guys want. Up in your face, and QQ is playing right into their book. Granted, QQ is doing a pretty good job keeping up considering their team composition, but this is exactly where THD wants to be.
And especially because all the kills are going onto this Bristleback, and he's going to be the, the hero in the middle of the fight for the majority of the early game. So he wants to be getting the farm. I mean, if Bristleback was dying, but the kills were going onto the Venomancer, then it would probably be okay for QQ. But given that Bristleback has only died once, he's got 5 kills now. Treads, Ring of Health, Magic Stick. I mean, he's got all the farm he needs. So.
He just got his Vanguard.
Oh, okay. So Vanguard's up now as well.
It says that you disconnected from the game.
Yeah, I'm coming back in.
I do have you in Skype, though, so we will continue to chit-chat while you are getting back into the game. I don't like this Vanguard pick on this Bristleback unless he is creep cutting for tower pushes. It's the only time that I really like the Vanguard on the Bristleback. The Vanguard is really only effective against really, really low strength attacks. Now, granted, it is the most effective method of purchase in the game for handling creep attacks. But if you're not capable or not regularly tanking a lot of creep attacks, there's no reason to get it. A mechanism blocks more damage in terms of armor than a Vanguard from hero damage. So it really depends how this Bristleback is being played. But we definitely need to see him tanking as much creep as possible during these fights to make that Vanguard a viable pick. Especially since he rushed it.
Well, they might be just waiting for this opportunity now. They've got the Vanguard up to just start diving the tower.
Yeah.
And I mean, Bristleback is a fantastic hero to dive, especially if he is, like you said, cutting the creeps over here, and then he can have his back to the tower.
Yep.
And so he'll be popping up quill sprays every couple of minutes just from that. So, I mean, that's maybe what they're waiting for. And it doesn't look like they're pushing the lane too much, though. Oh, no, maybe now they are.
Bottom is actually being pushed out pretty hard. Down to about half health, just on its own. The Ifrits, or the Forge Spirits, excuse me, are doing a pretty good job forcing that lane forward.
Yeah, this Invoker looks like he's just playing a hard carry Invoker, picking up a Midas, not really rotating from his lane. I mean, he is throwing out the Sunstrikes, but the fact that he hasn't picked up on a level in Wex yet, even though he's level 9, I mean, I find that a little bit interesting. Normally, at least from what I've seen, you do get just an early level of Wex, so you can throw out, Tornado if you need to, for example. I think Tornado.
I will admit, as far as Invoker play goes, I don't play Invoker. I narrowly understand Invoker. He's a very complicated hero, but I don't see any reason why you would not get at least one level of everything by the time you're level 9, just so that you have the versatility of an Invoker. That's the reason you pick him, because he's so versatile in so many positions. Goo is going to pop us out, try to get some health back up. And yeah, just opting to say, well, I'm going to get rid of a third of my hero's potential in the early game for, incremental advantages on the things that I do have. It does seem like an interesting call to me. Perhaps the reason he's doing that is because he's so certain that he's not planning on leaving his lane anytime soon that he doesn't expect to be engaging, and because he's not going to be engaged, he did just pick up the Wex. So
yeah, he just got it then.
So we'll probably see him rotating around pretty soon here. That's what that is an indicator of, and he is actually, as we're saying that, he is going to be jumping up, maybe to creep, maybe to. I
think he's just going to the jungle.
He's going to creep. Okay, never mind.
But yeah, I mean, he's picked up the Staff of Wizardry, so he could be building that into either a Yule's or a Force Staff. But either of those two items are designed for kind of aggression. I mean, I have seen people playing Invoker like an AFK farming carry, just going straight for a Hex Rush, but the fact he's picking up something that's potentially an early game item, I would say, Force Staff is a bit more for, diving, whereas the Yules is going to be for initiating team fights, just throwing a hero up in the air and instantly killing them down. But, I mean, it does imply that maybe he's going to lead the bot lane. I mean, 12 minutes he's been sitting here. He's got to be getting bored soon.
He's going to take this tower right now, and there's going to be no reaction coming out. There are TPs on everybody from QQ, but nobody's interested in going down and protecting that tower.
Bounty Hunter's top lane. He's split out by the sentry. Top lane.
Oh, wow. Okay, we are a lot of there's one down. Chris McNabb throws out the field. That's a good amount of damage. Bounty Hunter is also on the and the Satyr narrowly misses the Bounty Hunter. Almost killed him. The Bristleback doing pretty good damage. But Rubik has managed to steal Quill Spray. A good spell to steal. Unfortunately, Rubik does not have the staying power that Bristleback has. And so that Quill Spray is not he is going to go down, trying to get away. And Invoker has now rotated into the mid, and it looks like he's just planning on pushing through. He's got four
they took down the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, they have the Alchemist, and they're going to push another down wall. QQ is still recovering and licking their wounds off of that top team fight. This tri-support slash semi-carry Bristleback is doing such a great job opening up the map for Alchemist and Invoker. The fact that Alchemist could have such a rough time in his lane in the early game and still be commanding his lane enough to take the tower first is entirely on the backs of this aggressive tri-lane. What a great call this aggressive tri-lane was against this Phantom Assassin, who really does not know how to handle it. The Force Staff is up on the Invokers.
Yeah, I mean, I expect now we're going to be seeing THD going for all the towers. And, I mean, like you were saying, Dragon Knight, he's normally the hero that gets the towers down first, but he just hasn't found room. And he's going now to the bot lane. But I have to say, I don't really like Dragon Knight and PA in the same lineup. I think Dragon Knight's kind of similar to an OD in that he has got good carry potential, but he doesn't really add too much until he gets some items up. He's more designed to sit in lane and push and farm. And I'm actually smoked up behind the tower now in top lane. They want to get a kill. This poor PA.
This. It looks like they're going to be moving on PA. There's the Gale. And, yeah, this is probably that PA. She could try to blink out onto the Invoker. She tries to blink, but she ends up blinking into the trees a little bit. The Crystal Maiden does go down on this suggestion. There goes the, Guts Glass. Invoker takes the Soul Something. And an auto attack. He's almost down. The Urn doing some damage. He's still good damage. The track goes out just in case, and now Slice trying to protect him. Oh, wow. Invoker turned around and died. Unnecessarily dead.
This whole time, though, Knive is just 1v5ing.
And now Dragon Knight coming in and being blocked by the Forge Spirits. Very nice. Dead Invoker. Stun goes out. Omega Poke goes down! She tried to blink to the Dragon Knight for safety, but ends up going down. And the Acid Spray is out. The armor reduction to Guron doing a pretty good amount of damage to him as well. Whatever. He is going to go down to the poison. The stun goes out on Tiburon, and that's going to be one more auto attack. He is down. The stun goes out on Slice first, but because he has his ultimate in 9 seconds, he's got a regen rune as well. He's got absolutely nothing to fear. Visage Familiar is just kind of hanging out. What a sprawling engagement. That was literally over this entire section of the map.
Yeah, and I mean, while you were watching this guy down here, it was kind of funny. We were watching Bristleback he was fighting, I think, the PA, the Bounty Hunter, I think, or no, maybe it was with the PA, Visage, and Dragon Knight were all just on top of him, as well as the Familiars, and he was just standing there, just tanking all of it, making so much space for his allies. Toggling to get himself alive and stay for that extra bit of duration, which was just funny to watch, like insane to watch, actually. He survived for so long.
I mean, look at his farm, too. He had such an amazingly strong early game that he is a force to be reckoned with. The Invoker actually has more farm than him, but remember, the Invoker had uncontested free farm for like 12 minutes. And the Bounty, or the Bristleback in an aggressive try is only 600 below the Invoker, who free farmed for at least 10 minutes. The haste rune is up on Slice. There's going to be an additional stun coming out onto him from the Dragon Knight. The Invoker trying to back out as well. Rubik coming in, taking a little bit of damage from the Forged Spirits. And now Zybaeyu also coming down. Thinking about maybe turning this into engagement, but Radiant has no interest in that. They are going to back out.
And it's worth noting as well, from that team fight with the kill on the Crystal Maiden and the Venomancer, PA has had enough farm to get up that Hand of Midas, so her farm will be accelerating a little bit.
Yeah, that'll pay for itself at about 26, 25 minutes, something like that. And the levels will help her tremendously, because she has kind of fallen behind. The Alchemist The Bristleback and the Invoker are all ahead of her. So really, really not where you want your farming carry to be, especially if you devoted both your supports to a purely defensive try. They didn't rotate that. There's a big engagement going on here on the gradient side. There's going to be some slows in here, and he's not going to be able to get away from this. He's going to go down. And they're looking, potentially, for anybody else, but the stragglers have all run away already. Bounty Hunter just kind of left him, and for good reason. There was nothing they were going to do about that engagement. I honestly, I'm not 100% sure. This is the second game in a row that I feel kind of iffy on a Midas pickup. Midas, pretty popular at the moment. Phantom Assassin already goes into the late game really, really hard. I don't know why you would feel when you're getting absolutely no control over the map. I don't know why they feel like trading off early game advantage is worth it for the late game. Phantom Assassin's already going to carry harder, probably than anyone on the team. Arguably, the Alchemist could give her a run for her money, but Max, I think a PA is going to be able to out-carry it in Alchemist, regardless of the Midas. And granted,
I don't know. If Alchemist goes for a Basher,
yeah,
and maybe some kind of attack speed on like an ACP, I can't really do much, even with a BKB.
It is thoroughly dependent on what the supports are doing, obviously. Like, there is no vacuum
Yeah.
in Dota. I mean, if somebody else on
PA versus Alchemist mid lane.
Wait, what was that?
Oh, no, it's just like in a vacuum, like PA versus Alchemist, just one-on-one mid lane, no supports.
All the supports just stand on the side like, go, my carry, do everything. Yeah, that doesn't happen. Yeah, like an AC could come out on, say, the Dragon Knight or something, and that would help the PA out. But likewise, an AC could come out on the Bristleback or something to help out the Alchemist without taking one of his inventory slots. So it depends on the global build and also the amount of stuns and stuff that are coming out for each team, positioning. So those sorts of calls are kind of nebulous and questionable, but
Yeah.
I think QQ has a better late game team in general if they go long enough, but they're obviously having trouble early game. They have absolutely no map control. They have no towers at 20 minutes. They are more like, oh wow, injured again. And Rubik teleporting into a world of hurt. Really. Diabetes taking a lot of as well. He is in this one. I don't think that he's going to do Diabetes has been everything possibly the cast on him was an unstable concoction bouncing off this board just for the they're going to get another tower. QQ is really starting to lose control of this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the map control is going to be the biggest point, because when you've got a bounty hunter, you need to retain some kind of map control, just so he can get the ganks off and get the tracks off. And if he finds it a little bit too risky to go forward and get the track, well then you've picked up a hero that's designed, you know, for ganking, and you can't get the gank. So, I mean, that's kind of the problem with picking the heroes they've got. They've got no AoE, no ability to really take these team fights and defend. And, I mean, THD now are just sticking as 5, which is exactly what they need to do.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that QQ can contest their 5-man, unless, you know, they, like the fight up here where they all got spread out fantastically. If THD do stand together, QQ just don't have the damage or the AoE really to take them down. So,
I mean,
I think what's going to happen is it's not going to late game.
Quill Spray. Like, let alone all the other stuff coming out. The Quill Spray by itself is enough to wreck almost all of QQ's team.
Yeah, they needed a mech carrier, and they just don't have anyone that really can carry a mech. Oh, they do actually. They've got Visage with a mech.
Yeah.
He's done really good on the farm. Didn't notice that. So I mean, that's actually quite good in their favor. But still, I mean, it's not enough. I would say 21 minutes to get the mech. They probably needed someone in the mid lane, like, you know, like an Alchemist, for example, who didn't go make this game, but I've seen Alchemist getting, you know, like a 10-minute mech up, just to help out with those early game team fights.
Yeah, I in OD would have been great for that. Like, OD has some survivability, is able to counter initiate, has that AoE with the standard sign, but obviously OD was eventually banned out in this game. I agree. I feel like the draft, QQ's draft addresses what they wanted to do, but did not address the realities of the situation for what THD was going to do. We both knew, both of us said from the get-go, that this was going to be a 5-man collapse into towers for THD.
Yeah.
Like, it was very obvious out there once the lineup was complete what THD was going for. And QQ just doesn't have any way to respond to that. There's nothing that they can do about that. They just need to try and get some farm up into the late game and hope that they can turn it around. But if they continue to lose kills at the rate that they've started to lose them, they continue to lose the gold lead, which is now at about 12,000 in favor of Radiant. I don't know that even in the late game they'll be able to.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with losing all of your towers by, you know, the 23-minute mark now, is that you lose all this area. You can't farm your jungle, you can't farm the enemy jungle, and the enemy is going to have, you know, the Ancients to stack and farm your jungle, their jungle, as well as all 3 lanes. There's going to be basically free farm for them. So even if you do have battles, you can farm.
Huge dives from your top. Not only that, they'll have uncontested access to Roshan at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to potentially be a 2-3. Once again, I don't see what you can do about this. If they engage, yeah, they might take 1 or 2 out, including the burst back Kaz and Aegis. Yeah, if they do manage to take 1 or 2 out, the tier 3 is not down, but they still have the Tabiron now, he's not down this. I may even go down this speed. Whatever, speed attack down. He was attacked down. They use his mechanism.
They're just diving to the fountain.
They're going to buy back, too. Buyback from the Visage is going to be the mechanism that is still in play. The Aegis is popped, so there's something at least. Honestly, THD is not interested in fighting this right now. They could have chased it down and gotten all 5 there. They didn't want to. They're just interested in getting these racks in this game. They do know that, it seems at least that they know, if he has any shot, the shot that they have is there's no reason not to.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
nice stun.
Inside the ass, pretty slow going out. Outside Bay, you take a lot of offense. He's going to go down to the Alchemist. His stun coming out, familiar. Now, Megaponer has been shooped up, and he's got a big more inside it. And a Fade Bolt. Stun going out onto the Visage, whatever. Still having not used that mechanism, he's going to go down again with that mechanism. I don't know if he remembers that he has it at this point. That's a 2 or 3
He needs
deaths.
it.
That's 2 or 3 deaths that he's died in a team fight where he hasn't. Not only has he not used that mechanism for himself, but he hasn't used it for his teammates either.
Teammates, who needs them? No, yeah, this game is quite hard now, I guess, for QQ, especially because they are at farm. You know, they could win if they caught up in farm, but they're just never going to, really. I can't imagine how they are.
I mean, if THD just goes to the fountain while they go out to lunch or something, and QQ is an uncontested free farm for the next 12 minutes, yeah, then they could probably catch up and farm. But short of that, we're over 15,000 gold in the lead of THD, who also have complete map control. They also have complete level control, 14,000 experience. In terms of the net worth, 3 of the top 5 are going to be on the Radiant, and the Invoker has the net worth of both the Mort and the Dragon Knight put together, plus some. So, what do you do at that point? I mean, QQ's obviously interested in fighting it out. Good for them for sticking to their guns there, but I honestly don't know where they'll find the flash. Mort, let's see, she doesn't have a back, so she's not going to be flash farming. Like, look how slowly she's going through these wild kills. She ended up going for a Black King bar first, which, I mean, I guess, okay, but in a position where she desperately needs to be farming, a farming item probably would have gone better, since she's obviously not surviving these team fights anyway. The Black King bar really isn't helping with that. I think. Does
Black King bar stop Quill Spray?
I don't think so. It's not.
Yeah, it's physical,
but so it doesn't. It shouldn't. It's not a targeted spell, and it's physical damage.
Yeah.
So I don't know for sure 100% off the top of my head, but I can think of no reason why it would.
Yeah, but still, I mean, yeah. I mean, THD have got everything they need. I have to say, I really love their item choices. I mean, they've gone for the Pipe, they've gone for the Vanguard, Heaven's Howl as well as Armament now up, but they've gone to the items they need to push in, which is what they want to do. There's nothing really to stop them.
If they had like 4 Necro books or something, they could push a little harder. Well, honestly, they just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Shadow Blade on the Alchemist is supposed to be really for this particular item, such as 5-manning and not taking and not split pushing. I think that Shadow Blade is kind of questionable call, but other than that, yeah, the builds on THD are fantastic, and they have so much gold. Huron going to go down here, a Fade Bolt going out. Just kind of, yeah, there's the GP. act of desperation. Got you finally calling the GG on this one. They were putting up a good fight. Once we get about that.
Yeah, I mean, they did their best, but unfortunately, the heroes just were a little bit lackluster for dealing with the AoE coming up from THD. But I mean, GG well played to both teams anyway.
Absolutely. Well, anyway, this has been the Dota 2 Canada Cup Season number 2, QQ versus THD. We've got a lot more coming at you. For anybody who isn't the Dota TV, you can also catch us over at twitch.tv/Dota2CA. And everybody in the Twitch channel, you can, of course, go on into Dota TV. This is a ticketed event. My name is Gorgon the Wonder Cow. You can catch me casting over at Sivo, over sometimes at Sunday Evening Cup Series, at Sticky Flames, all sorts of North American, usually, sometimes European tournaments. I'd love to have you guys stop by my Twitter and say hi. That's at GotCowDota, GOTCOWDOTA. And you can, of course, find me at twitch.tv